life insurance just might be the most important piece of the insurance puzzle that we put together for our clients. Because sure, we can put a home back in place if it's burned to the ground or some other catastrophe hits, but compared to what life insurance does to a family when they're devastated by that kind of a loss, there isn't anything else that we can do for that family that will make as much of a difference as having the right life insurance in place for them. As far as where my agency is concerned, if my number one goal is to do what's right for my clients, how can I possibly have anybody sit in front of me and I don't have the life insurance conversation with them, knowing what a difference it makes to them as a family or them as an individual. So if I'm going to do right by my customers, because that's what's going to make my agency flourish, then the life insurance piece of the puzzle is vital to my agency's success.
Life insurance is important for everyone, regardless of age, because there is a 1 in 1 chance of dying. We just don't know when that's going to happen. Now, for children, a lot of people don't want to get life insurance for children because they're scared to, I guess. But the younger you are, the less expensive life insurance is, and you never know what's going to happen. If one of your children were to pass away, would you be able to go back to work the next day? Of course not. You want to take some time off to grieve. So having life insurance allows you to do that without having to worry about all the bills that come, paying for the final expenses and everything also. Now, the older you are also, you want to have coverage because if a spouse or partner passes, you still want to, like I said, to live the same lifestyle and the bills will keep coming. So taking time off, it's nice to have extra money to help cover those costs. I have delivered 2 life insurance checks, and it's very sad, but the people with whom you give the money to are very thankful that they're, an important person in their life thought ahead and did get that coverage.
The one thing that I never want to have happen is get the phone call from the husband or wife and that their spouse is gone. How are they going to pay their mortgage? How are they going to send their kids to school? So from purely personal, selfish place, I don't ever want to get that phone call and have to answer why I never asked. So again, as one way of looking at it, just kind of personally my view on it.
Life insurance is so important to me because of my personal story with it. I have someone very near and dear to my heart who had a spouse pass away at a very young age. And when you're young, you don't really think about sitting down with a professional to talk about that. And it's one of the best part of my jobs because I will not let any client go without talking to me and having that discussion, even if they are young, because you never know what's going to happen. And I don't ever want to watch someone that I know not have the conversation with someone and have to experience what I experienced before and watch them have to move home and go through all of those horrible things when you're already grieving. So I take great honor in talking to all of my clients about life insurance.
I was in the funeral industry for almost 20 years, and I had the opportunity to sit across from families making arrangements for their loved one, both families who had in life insurance and families that didn't have life insurance. And to see their views of the future, it is quite different, as you would expect. I take it as a personal challenge that I don't want any of my clients, any of my friends, any of my family to have to sit across the table and not only not know how they're going to pay for my funeral or their loved one's funeral, but how they're going to pay their mortgage and how they're going to pay pay for their kids' education. So I draw from my past and my past experience in the funeral industry, and that's what motivates me to protect my clients to the best of my ability.
So life insurance is so important to me because in my lifetime I've seen friends and family and people here in my own town pass away without life insurance. Seeing the families go through that without life insurance is very hard. Having to get a GoFundMe to help bury your friend or your family member, it would have been a lot easier if that certain person would have had life insurance. Then you would have had to worry about how the family's going to make that mortgage next month, or how their little son or daughter is going to go to college and do everything that they wanted to do, or even having to worry about burying your loved one. One little policy there could have helped all that. I believe that's why life insurance is the most important.
Very early on in my career in the insurance industry, I paid my first death claim. I was about 6 months into the industry and found this client that was 35 years old, and he currently had a $50,000 life insurance policy, and I was contacting him over several months to increase his policy from $50,000 to $100,000. He kept blowing me off. He kept not showing up for the appointment. He would start declining my calls, and finally I had called him. His cell phone was sitting next to his mom, and she picked up the phone, and I advised her why I was calling and told her to have him give me a call back, and she said, no, absolutely not. He's going to meet you here at my house at this time. We're going to get this taken care of. It's important to me, even though it may not be important to him. So wrote that life insurance policy. We increased him from $50,000 to $100,000, and no more than 2 months later, he passed away in a motorcycle accident. And that hit home for me. That was really hard. He was 35 years old. I really had to sit back and do some reflection because I had chased him for so long, and it just felt so personal to me. And I will never forget his mother and how thankful she was for me to be so persistent, because he did have some bills and some loans and then some medical bills from the traumatic situation that $50,000 wouldn't have cut it. He had a couple of kids as well, and so she was extremely thankful that I was so persistent and ensured that he took the time to sit and talk to me and sign the forms and do what he needed to do to increase his life insurance. So that's why we take it so seriously here in the office. I never want to have that conversation that it was my fault, that I didn't reach out to the customer or I didn't have that conversation with them. So every single customer that walks through our door of our office or calls our phone, we do have a life insurance conversation with them. Sometimes they don't want to have it, but going through the situation and seeing how it really can make a difference in a family is huge, and that's why we enjoy life insurance. We have fun with it, and we make sure that every single customer knows that we offer it.
Life insurance is something that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that every client should, or prospect should take the time to, let us sit down with them, review exactly what they need. There are so many different options out there, but most importantly, you should really worry about what's going to happen if that unexpected thing does happen. And you want to be able to pay your expenses when you're not here, because that's what life insurance does for you. It takes care of those needs when you're not here anymore.
Life insurance for me, I take it on a personal level. The reason why is I'm a father of 4. And if something was to happen to me, I want to make sure that my wife and my kids are in a better state than they are or were at the time prior to my death. So I take it on a personal note when it comes to that. And also I've seen what it has done to families personally. If there was no funds there to not only just bury their loved one, but to also take care of the mortgage and everything. Without that there, a spouse is left to not able to grieve properly, and they are having to worry about the bills soon thereafter, and work multiple jobs sometimes just to make ends meet. Life insurance is there to put that gap on there. So my agency, we take a personal note to try to make sure that we ask everyone and talk to everyone about that, so that we don't get that call from a client, find out that they lost a loved one, and we missed the opportunity to talk to them about life insurance. On a bigger note, before coming into the insurance business, I have always had insurance on myself when I had my first child. However, though, I didn't understand the complete importance of life insurance either. There is not a number that fits all. Everyone has their one individual number that is pertained to them as far as what they want and what they need the life insurance policy to do for them at the time of their death. So it's very important that for me, I sit down and find out exactly what and how they want their life policy to work for them, in turn to build that number that is befitting for that client themselves, their own personal number, and not just one you throw in the air. So again, life insurance for me, because I have seen how it has helped people and how it has not helped anyone if they did not have life insurance coverage. So it's a very personal thing for me, again, being a father of 4.
So the last couple of years, our focus and our view on life insurance has really shifted from a point of, quote, having to sell life insurance to hit our numbers or to hit a goal, to wanting to sell it, wanting to provide the right policy, the right protection to our client. With the auto and home, we talk about protecting them, what's going to happen, and we're really not covering the most important asset. We're not protecting them properly if we don't bring up life insurance every time.